Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a lot to talk about. I have been doing some investigating with some credits that Square Enix gave to Sony with the production of their games, specifically Final Fantasy VII Remake / Integrate, and also Final Fantasy 16 now, which has raised some questions about what's going on over with Square Enix and Sony's relationship. And I kind of dive into that, and I'm going to speculate a little bit as well. I do want to give a quick shout out to one of my viewers who brought this to my attention, Dandee Oyasanya, who had talked about Sony being credited in FF7 Remake, which I did not know about. Even Jim Ryan's name is stated there. Now, quickly, before we jump into that, if you guys could do me a huge favor, hit the like button, show your support. Really goes a long way, and I appreciate it. And also, subscribe if you're new, really goes a long way as well. And share the video if you do find it informative. Now, before we jump into this whole credit situation with Final Fantasy VII Remake, I want to touch up on the fact that we know that Final Fantasy 16 was co-developed by PlayStation, and they are actually doing the marketing for it as well. That's a part of the deal that they got put together, meaning that they will take care of the marketing side of things, and they will also co-develop the game in return for a 6-month exclusive for the PS5. Now, Yoshi P has also confirmed that that does not mean that the game's dropping in 6 months everywhere else, as they've just focused on developing for the PS5, and they will then focus later on for the PC and any other platforms. Now, it is pretty clear that there is likely no intent at the moment to go to the Xbox platform, and that is kind of because we've seen that 7 Remake never went to the Xbox platform, and it's well over the time frame that it was an exclusive. And the reason I'm beginning to believe that is the case is because Sony is co-developing these games, and in return, they are being exclusive to PlayStation and also being exempt from going to the Xbox platform. Now, there's obviously the side of things where they don't make many sales on Xbox, so that could also be why they don't put it there. But I think I'm more likely leaning towards that's an agreement they have with Sony, that it doesn't go to the Xbox platform. It's specifically just for PlayStation and PC. Now, to kind of elaborate on this, if you guys are familiar, not only did they talk about, PlayStation co-developing and helping Square Enix with the development of Final Fantasy 16, we've also heard that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going a lot smoother as well. While it's not outlined exactly why that's the case, it seems that this could also be a part of Sony co-developing the game. And if we look further back to support these claims, we see Final Fantasy VII Remake having credited Sony Interactive Entertainment in their credits near the end, crediting quite a lot of different developers. Even Jim Ryan is there as well. So it really shows that, they did have a hand in developing this game, and likely that is a part of the agreement, similar to how they are doing it with Final Fantasy 16 and likely Rebirth as well. And if you look up a few of these names, you see that these are developers that have worked on many PlayStation games and many other Square Enix games, which is very interesting because games like, for example, Dragon Quest XI was also a timed exclusive for PlayStation. So it's another situation where we are seeing another game having some sort of exclusivity agreement with Sony, and now we're seeing that they have been credited in the credits of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and now we can only surmise that, is it possible, is it likely that they will have the same agreement with Rebirth? And then obviously FF16, we already know that that's a part of their agreement, that the co-development and marketing rights or our marketing process and costs were going to be done by Sony. So there's a lot around here, and there's some factual stuff and there's some of it that's speculation. But one thing is for certain, that Sony is co-developing these games. They are involved with Remake. They are going to be involved with Rebirth. And clearly they are very involved with Final Fantasy 16, as it's been flat out confirmed that they are co-developing the game. So it's something that makes me think even deeper into what's going on with their relationship. Now, obviously, it's easy to kind of just jump to the conclusion that, oh, this must mean that some sort of acquisition is coming down the line, as we have a 20% boost in acquisition budget as well for PlayStation. So it seems interesting to me that maybe this does open a door for a Square Enix acquisition, right? And it is possible. It's certainly possible. There's been so much smoke around this that people have kind of felt like behind the scenes there is some sort of agreement being hashed out, that there is something going on back there. But the thing is, we don't know that for sure, right? There's a lot of speculation behind that. But one thing is for certain, that Sony and Square Enix are so tight and they are so like intertwined in terms of their really big AAA games. Think Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Dragon Quest, these games, and specifically with these mainline Final Fantasy titles, that it seems that this co-development may be the way that they keep these games exclusive to the platform, or there's something broader and deeper coming down the pipeline in terms of maybe some sort of acquisition, right? And again, it's easy to kind of jump on that type of thought process, but if I'm not going to consider that an acquisition is coming, because it feels just right, it feels like it just makes sense, right? Like Sony, Square Enix just makes sense. Since PS1, it just makes sense, right? So for me, if that is not a consideration, then they are so intertwined in co-developing these games that they have given themselves a right and something that Square Enix has agreed to, that these games are always going to be a PlayStation exclusive, with PC in the question afterwards, which also could theoretically be just as good as them acquiring Square Enix, which may mean they may never acquire Square Enix. They may just, make an investment in Square Enix and then just keep doing these co-developed titles because they know Final Fantasy does really well with the PlayStation community. And on top of that, they don't have to go out and spend a ton of money. They can just co-develop these games and have them exclusive to their platform and look best on their platform even prior to going to PC, because they're literally developing these games specifically with the set of specs that the PS5 comes with, that this becomes a very appealing situation to a point that acquisition isn't necessary, because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Final Fantasy 16, who knows, maybe Kingdom Hearts, although Disney's mixed in that, so maybe there's more of an agreement with Disney and Square Enix on that side. But even Dragon Quest, these games could be looking more and more likely to be some sort of PlayStation exclusive in one way or another. So this is big. This is huge. And I think this kind of explains why we're not seeing these games coming to Xbox. I think this explains why there's such an exclusivity with Square Enix and PlayStation's platform more than anything. And to me, at least, this explains it. And to me, this kind of explains why maybe we'll never see an acquisition of Square Enix. Maybe it'll just be an investment. Maybe they'll just keep co-developing these games with them, and then that just makes more sense as a move for Sony. And that's just something that I've been thinking of, especially after hearing that Square Enix is crediting Sony in Final Fantasy VII Remake. But that's all I have for you guys today. I really wanted to make this video and kind of share some thoughts on it. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please sound off. Let me know. Am I crazy for thinking this, or do you guys have some more insight to share on this? As always, if you have not liked the video already and you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, share the video. Really goes a long way if we get this out to more people. And you can also follow me on Twitter. My link will be in the description. I thank you all for watching. I'll talk to you on the next one. Take care.